Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Julie. I'm an occupational therapist, a life coach, and a mom to two little kids. And I like to talk about some of the more challenging topics related to motherhood and some of the things that I don't think are spoken about enough online and in our culture. So if you would like, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Leave me comments on what kind of future videos you'd like to see from me. And let's get into the video. Vegan. What do you think when you hear that word? Is it something totally foreign to you? Is it something you're very familiar with? I'm going to do this video today, and I don't know how it's going to go because I think it's kind of a controversial topic. But this is something that I have thought about a lot, and I continue to think about a lot. And that's the topic of becoming a vegan, being more plant-based. What does that mean in society? How does it impact what food I feed my kids? Because it's one thing to kind of experiment with my own diet as an adult and a fully formed human, but what about my children who will have to eat whatever I decide for them ultimately? This is something that I think about a lot. I've done a lot of research on it. I continue to research on it. I'm very interested in nutrition and food and exercise and wellness and all that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to talk about why I am not a vegan, if I'm perfectly honest, but why I aspire to be one. So if that is something that is interesting to you, please keep watching. Before I go ahead, I would love to know what your thoughts are on food, whether you're a vegan, whether you are a pescatarian, whether you even like labels, because I personally don't like labels, and I think they kind of hold you to a certain level or standard that sometimes is unattainable, and if you don't attain it or keep it up, then there's a lot of shame and guilt associated with that. This probably all started probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I went to Hawaii and I came back and my skin was bad and I was feeling not so great, and I was starting to research how can I improve my skin, can I use food to help, and dairy kept on coming up, which is very common. People attribute dairy to inflammation and that causes acne and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, okay. So I started researching eating or cutting out dairy. Inevitably all the other stuff comes up too, like cutting out eggs and cheese and meat and all this kind of thing. And there's very compelling literature around all of this kind of thing. I will link my favorite books that I've read about plant-based diets and veganism down below. But this got me thinking, you know, what happens to animals? And I started watching more documentaries and reading up about it, and some documentaries I can't even watch because they're so graphic and horrific. And I know that's the point, to kind of shock people. And so I kind of have come to this point now in my life now where when I say I would like to be a vegan but I'm not a vegan, I can't lie, I'm not a vegan. And we do eat eggs occasionally, but you know, if you want to be a real true vegan, and I think this is where I struggled, you have to be super vigilant about everything that you consume, because there's just hidden sneaky stuff. Often dairy's hidden in things, in a lot of processed things. You technically shouldn't eat honey. Then if you want to consider yourself an ethical vegan, you have to change the type of materials that you wear. So no leather, no wool, no silk, all this kind of stuff. And I think my personality is such that I wanted to go all in, and then I became so overwhelmed and just couldn't do it. So now I'm in this place where I've kind of found like a middle ground, and where I aspire to be a vegan. Whilst it is super popular on the internet to be a vegan, I don't know in my cultural circle how popular it is. I think people still would think I was crazy by saying that I want to be a vegan. Primarily for the ethical standpoint, because I know what happens in factory farming and I don't want to be a part of that. I wish I could stop it. I also want to help my children make good choices, and I do think that there are a lot of elements of a vegan lifestyle that are very healthy and sustainable and nutritious, and we don't need to be eating so much meat, we do not need to be eating so much cheese. I aspire to be that way, but then I come across stumbling blocks where I'll go out with friends. I kind of want to make this video because I feel so alone about the whole thing, but I have this thing where I feel kind of embarrassed about being different or special or creating a wave when it comes to food. So if someone said to me, what are your dietary preferences? I'd rather just not say anything and just kind of pretend or work my way around it. So I know now that I need to set sort of rules for myself as to what I'm prepared to eat and not prepared to eat. And also I need to unpack this layer of why do I care what anybody else thinks? If this is what I feel is right for me, then what's the problem? And I think that also is an issue in a way because it's such a new lifestyle to me and my family and my broader family too. It's not how we typically eat. We eat a omnivorous diet. That's how I was raised. I think there's still an element of doubt where I'm like, is this the right thing? So if anyone has any ideas about feeding kids on a vegan diet and how to combat when they go to school, and are they going to be the odd one out, and is it strange? Please let me know. I would love to know. Then the other thing about veganism that I really like is going to help tackle the environmental impact of farming and farming agriculture in the world, and especially in America. From perspective, I think we can all benefit, and the world can benefit from us consuming less meat. And I guess the question is, do we just abolish it altogether? And is that realistic as a society? Or do we just personally take on eating less animal products as a kind of contribution to the planet? I guess it's similar to, do you decide to waste water or are you more concerned about it? My other struggle is because we don't live in a veganized or plant-based society, and maybe I'm just doing it wrong, so if you have tips, let me know. But I find it's very hard to eat a purely plant-based diet. Maybe I need to be more organized. I think that is definitely an element. And because the truth is, like, I want to be healthy. I want to be in the best physical condition of my life. I want to live a long time. I think it's hard in this kind of culture, go to family gatherings and things like that, and you want to stick to a vegan diet and you have to refuse all the food because most people are not cooking in a plant-based way. So that is something that I struggle with, and that also contributes to me not being fully vegan. So I would love to know if you guys have any ideas or tips and tricks besides bringing your own food. So it makes it hard. I feel like there's going to be judgment if I suddenly start telling everybody, and then so I'm just trying to do the best that I can. The other piece to this puzzle is, what do I feed my children and how do I bring them up? And I guess that's something I also kind of struggle with, because I can make our home vegan and I can control what I eat. My husband can control what he eats. But when we go to birthday parties and when the kids are at school or they go on a play date, I have this strange feeling of inconveniencing people if I say to them, yeah, no, please, I prefer you not to offer them cheese, a milkshake, and pancakes. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But maybe by just doing as much plant-based possible, that also leading by example and your role modeling and that kind of thing, and people start to learn to respect your choices. I just don't like being the center of attention when it comes to food and food choices, and there's part of me that's not brave enough to just say to people, hey, this is the way that I want to eat and please can you respect that. I just feel uncomfortable. So basically, as it is the start of a new year and a new decade, my husband and I are taking on a little challenge to go plant-based for January and February to the best of our ability. We are going to take on this challenge of trying to eat plant-based January and February without the persecution that comes with things not being perfect. Now the thing is, okay, well, if we're not eating, insert whatever animal protein here, what are we eating instead? And how do we stay full? And how do we stay committed? And how do we not eat junky food that can be vegan? I mean that. So I will update you guys. I'm thinking of doing kind of a recipe a week, or filming some of the foods, and if you're interested in, please let me know. I think it'll be helpful for people transitioning, and I do think it's a good start after the holidays, kind of refresh, we're back in our home, all this kind of stuff. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was some healthy-ish vegan snacks that I found that are really good if you want to make healthy swaps in your home. These are all from this brand called Cashews, and these are snacking and baking dark chocolate, so I like to use these. It's just like if you want like a little bit of dark chocolate, or if I want to bake cookies or something. Chocolate covered cashew and vanilla bean hunks, so this should be nice. I haven't tried these yet. And for sour goldenberries, which I think should be interesting. I've never had these before. There's no shiny glaze. If you ever buy chocolate covered nuts, they usually have like a shine to them, and that I think is crushed up beetles, which is definitely not vegan. It's called shellac, which is confectioner's glaze. It is chemically treated insect goo. So it's all these things that you just never knew had all these hidden ingredients. Like, even if you're not a vegan, it's like, who wants to eat crushed up bugs? And that's what we're giving our kids, So I think especially now, I'm trying to be really mindful and cut out all the crap that is in our food supply. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was a little bit of a ramble, but it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time because I don't see a lot of people discussing this whole thing. I know it's a very sensitive subject for people, so please know that my intention is not to offend anybody. I'm just trying new things that will work for my family, that I think are more ethical, that are more environmentally sustainable as we go into this crazy climate crisis that we're experiencing. Don't forget to like this video if you like this kind of content. It's not something that I have done a lot in the past, so I'd love to know if this is something you enjoy and want me to talk about more. I will also have resources linked for some of the books that I have read about plant-based eating and that kind of stuff, so if you want to look at those, check it out. Subscribe to this channel, share it with anyone who needs to see, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!